The late summer of 1946 was unseasonably hot in Graysville, Alabama. Nestled in Jefferson County, the small town was known for its tight-knit community and tranquil evenings. But that summer, peace gave way to terror. Rumors of a monstrous creature, the Alabama white Thang, spread like wildfire, plunging the town into paranoia. It began with Billy Mathers, a local farmer who lived on the outskirts of Graysville. One evening, as he was locking up his chicken coop, he heard a blood-curdling scream echo through the woods. It wasn't like anything he'd heard before, a chilling mix between a woman's wail and a panther's growl. When he turned toward the noise, he saw it, a towering, white-furred creature standing just beyond the tree line. Its glowing eyes bore into him before it vanished into the shadows with unnatural speed. Billy's story spread through the town like wildfire. At first, people dismissed it as drunken rambling or a misidentified animal. But then, others began to see it too. Mrs. Evelyn Harper swore she saw the creature dart across the road while driving home from church. Her car's headlights illuminated its massive, muscular frame, and she claimed it was covered in long, matted white hair. In the following weeks, sightings became more frequent. It appeared in Happy Hollow, its eerie scream sending shivers down the spines of those who lived nearby. Hunters in Walnut Grove spoke of glimpsing it stalking through the woods, moving with an uncanny grace for something so large. People whispered about the Enon graveyard, where old man George Norris had his infamous encounter years earlier. By mid-August, the residents of Graysville were on edge. Children weren't allowed to play outside after dark. Men took to patrolling their properties with rifles, though no one could agree on what kind of ammunition might stop such a creature. Town meetings devolved into heated debates about what should be done, but fear ruled the day. The local pastor, Reverend Harlan Green, called for calm during Sunday service. "The Lord will protect us from evil," he proclaimed. But even his assurances did little to ease the collective anxiety. The White Thang's legend grew with each new sighting, and the line between fact and fiction blurred. The turning point came on the night of August 24th. It began like any other humid summer evening, with cicadas singing their endless song. But as the moon rose high in the sky, an unnatural stillness fell over the town. Even the cicadas fell silent. That's when the screams began. It started in the woods near Moody's Chapel. The sound was so piercing that it woke nearly every resident within a mile. People rushed outside with lanterns and flashlights, only to hear the same haunting wail echoing from different directions. It was as if the creature was everywhere at once. At the edge of town, John and Martha Jenkins had the misfortune of seeing the White Thang up close. John later described the creature as a nightmare made flesh. It stood over 7 feet tall, its white fur glowing eerily in the moonlight. Its eyes, dark and hollow, seemed to pull the light out of the air around it. When it opened its mouth to scream, Martha swore she could see rows of sharp teeth glinting in the dark. The couple fled into their house and locked the doors, but the creature didn't follow. Instead, it seemed content to terrify the entire town, its unearthly cries reverberating through the night. By dawn, the White Thang had vanished, leaving Graysville in a state of panic. The morning after the attack, a group of local hunters led by Caleb Hargrove decided to take matters into their own hands. Armed with rifles, shotguns, and even dynamite, they ventured into the woods near Moody's Chapel. The townsfolk gathered at the edge of the forest to watch them go, their faces a mix of hope and dread. For hours, the hunters combed through the dense underbrush, following broken branches and enormous footprints. Caleb, a seasoned tracker, noted that the prints didn't resemble anything he'd ever seen. They were too large to belong to a bear, and the claw marks suggested a predator of incredible power. As the sun began to set, the hunters came upon a clearing where the air was thick with the stench of decay. In the center of the clearing lay a pile of animal carcasses, deer, rabbits, even a stray dog. The bodies had been mutilated, their flesh torn apart with savage ferocity. Flies buzzed in a nauseating swarm above the scene. Then came the scream. The hunters froze as the chilling wail echoed through the trees. It was closer than any of them had expected. Caleb raised his rifle, scanning the shadows. "Stay sharp," he whispered, but his voice betrayed his fear. The White Thang emerged from the tree line, its massive form dwarfing the men. For a moment, it simply stood there, staring at them with its hollow eyes. Then, with a guttural roar, it charged. Chaos erupted. The hunters fired their weapons, but the creature moved too quickly. It darted between the trees with unnatural speed, its white fur a blur against the dark forest. Caleb managed to hit it with a shotgun blast, but the creature barely flinched. It swiped at one of the men, its claws tearing through flesh and bone like paper. Realizing they were outmatched, Caleb yelled, "Fall back!" The hunters retreated, leaving behind their gear and their wounded. The white Thang didn't pursue them. Instead, it let out one final, bone-chilling scream before disappearing into the woods. The hunters returned to Graysville shaken and defeated. Caleb, who had always been a pillar of strength in the community, looked like a broken man. "That thing ain't natural," he told the townsfolk. "It's not something we can kill." Over the following weeks, the sightings decreased, and the white Thang seemed to retreat deeper into the wilderness. But the damage was done. Many families packed up and left Graysville, unwilling to live in a place haunted by such a creature. For those who stayed, the memory of that summer lingered like a dark cloud. Even decades later, the older residents of Graysville would tell their children and grandchildren about the Alabama white Thang. They warned them never to wander too far into the woods and to always be wary of the night. Today, the legend of the Alabama white Thang remains a part of local folklore. Some say it's an albino Bigfoot, others believe it's a ghostly apparition or even a demon. Whatever it is, those who've seen it swear that it's real. And on quiet summer nights, when the wind carries strange sounds through the trees, some in Graysville still wonder if the white Thang is out there, watching and waiting.